Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Thunder, and this is Two Dads React. And that's my collaboration with Tony, aka God Rules. And we've been best buds since fifth grade. And we're both dads. We're both lame-o dads. And we have a number of videos to share, and we kind of go back and forth. I'll show him some things that tend to be a little bit more on this sort of accountability, relationship, uh, values kind of topics, and he will tend to show things that are on the main topic. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that's going on right now, has been a regular theme in the program, and there are some strange things happening in Hollywood. Well, maybe the question should be, when aren't there strange things happening in Hollywood? But strange things even for Hollywood standards. So, without any further ado, Two Dads React. Let's go. Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening, buddy?
Not much. My video is still a little bit blurry, but it's getting a little better.
Over here. Looks good over here. I think it's like a it spins up or something. It just takes a minute
Yeah,
to
yeah, it's getting
warm
better
up.
a little bit.
But yeah. So, how's your week been thus far?
Busy like always. Just trying to put up a lot of videos and having to deal with stuff on YouTube a little bit, but getting around it, getting things going, all that kind of stuff.
You
But,
know, I
I have taxes too, but go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I filed for my extension, so I'm going to chill out for a little bit, and then once everything is actually all said and done, semester's over. I've got a couple other things to be concerned about, and then after that, then I'm gonna go ahead and get the taxes done. But I actually got my first strike warning, copyright
Really?
strike or
Oh,
guideline,
copyright?
not for copyright. I'm sorry, like I violated some rules of YouTube or something.
What was it?
And I was looking at the video that it was. It was one of the videos that we did. It wasn't that us did it. I have a panel show called Case Closed on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And we did a show on the jab about the jab.
Oh,
Is the jab actually causing, more harm than good? That was the title.
uh-oh.
And then, but different folks had different opinions, on the
Yeah.
panel. And we didn't say we're experts and we're medical professionals or something. So
That's why I don't talk about that stuff anymore on YouTube. I used to actually have videos a little bit in that realm like a couple of years back or something, but yeah, I don't ever talk about that stuff anymore on
well,
YouTube.
but here's the thing. That video is like ancient history. That video is like
Oh, it was old? Was it old?
at least 4 months ago.
Yeah, they
So
they like to go into your history. That's also another reason why I don't have a lot of videos on my channel. I only put up videos though that I think, or I keep videos that are doing well. I actually would keep them all if I could, because I get a little bit of
residual.
someone who doesn't yeah, you get residual if you keep it up. But well, the main concern is that I have a couple videos here and there that get uh, rated is what I call it. And when they get bad, when they don't do good, I know there's something not right, so I just delete them. But if they're doing really good, I'll keep them.
Oh,
So I used to have like I've done over 1,000 videos on YouTube. I've probably done 2,000 even. I used to have like 600 on God Rolls, and I got like 20 now or something, or 15 or whatever. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea to go on your old stuff. You got anything that it's not getting any views, and it could be a liability.
Yeah, but my policy has been, I've got these videos I do called Car Thunder, and those are morning videos like on weekdays. Matter of fact, tomorrow morning is the panel version of that show, so people don't want to call in. Um, so I'll do that. I'll do that, and then I leave those up only for a week, and then I put them behind a paywall, so they're in my member area only, right? So I do
Hmm.
that, and then there are a number of, maybe a little more spicy videos that I've done, stuff that's like, I know that, some folks might get, I have to. Warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Videos where I put that up multiple times, you know.
Yeah.
Like every other video we're looking at, that the thing goes back up again. So I'll take those down. I don't take them down exactly. I put them behind the members. The one that they had an issue with, I think, is in the members only area. I I don't even.
Yeah.
It's not even a public video.
You can have it private and they'll do it. You can have it like it can be deleted and they'll do it. Like there's people that have had videos that are deleted like a week ago and they'll get a strike. They'll be private, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's why, like I said, I put a lot of my videos that are the really good ones that I used to have on my channel. I put them up over on my website, grvideos.com. And I got like
Mm.
200 in the free section, 200 just in the free section alone. You can make an account. I had a forums, but I took it down. But I'm going to put it back up soon here. I had to take it down because it got all the spam, but I figured out a way to get around it. But at any rate, I got like 200 in the free section. I probably got like 600 in the membership section,
Right.
and there's a couple videos in there that are pretty spicy. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't put on YouTube, but I think most of them wouldn't. Well, there's a couple there I wouldn't put on YouTube. You know what I mean?
But
There's a few.
and
There's a
this is
few.
interesting because when I say spicy, um, I'm never like endorsing debauchery or anything, and I'm not
Oh no, I
people to
know.
do
Yeah.
wrong stuff or conduct themselves in an illegal fashion.
You just mean
Uh,
controversial today
I
in
mean,
today's
right? I
terms.
just controversial. I mean, I'm not staying I'm not staying within the, it's outside of the Overton window. It's not, you know,
Well, it's gotten really small, you know, it's like really small window.
yeah, that's
Can't
not
fit
right.
anything anywhere.
All right. So anyhow, let's go ahead and jump into some stuff. I'll start with one, and then we'll see what we got.
All right.
And they have like way too many, but I couldn't choose. There's so many good ones. I mean, it's like daily. There's something. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is kind of a sour note to start on, but hey, um, I'm a realist, so all right, here we go. Let's take a listen, and nod at me, if you can hear it, or like put a one up if you can hear it.
I apologize for having interference.
Can you hear? Did you put one?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I apologize for. I'm not the type of person that can go without love, affection, sex, hugs, kisses. I can't go without. I deserve those things. I was willing to see all the bad in you and still love you. But at the first sign of hardship, you completely shut down on me without even giving it a shot. That does not justify my action. It's a terrible thing to do. But I didn't wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna cheat on my husband." I cannot make you trust me again. But what I will not do is allow anyone to be able to say they got something on me or hanging something over my head. I will say it first.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my. Oh, okay. Apparently, there's an echo.
Maybe.
Okay, so there's a little bit of an echo. Is there an
It wasn't
echo
bad.
talking, or is it just an echo when the video was playing?
I think he
Somebody,
means not really an echo, more like just like you can hear. I think it's maybe because it's hearing what's coming out of your speakers, maybe.
yeah. That's still an echo. I mean, I can fix that issue if that was actually happening. But anyhow, we saw the video. We heard what they were saying. Okay, just on the video. Okay, we heard what they were saying. It's amazing to me that at any point in time, I mean, this is more of a common thing now. There's like a with the apology, there's like a built-in, but
Yeah.
I did this because you did something, not fully taking ownership for, yeah, I cheated on you, and that's like never allowable. And
But there's a
then,
reason why.
yeah, and giving these, well, I'm a person that needs affection. I'm a person that needs X, Y, and Z. And it's not like one day I just woke up and decided to do this. And it that's not even like why is that even like something to say? Because you only need a contract, and if and though I'm not a fan of the state being involved in marriage, but you only need a contract for when it's not going well. You don't need the contract when everybody's feeling great and everything's great. That's not when you need the contract. You need it is when stuff gets hard. And so just saying, okay, well, it got hard and so that's why I cheated. Well, that's why we had the contract. That's why we're married in, adultery, don't commit adultery. That's why that's a rule. Not because everything is going to be hunky dory all the time. It's because it's going to get hard, and then you can either decide to do the right thing or the wrong thing, but you can never. It's that again. It's that it rains on the righteous and on the unrighteous. The rain just reveals who you are, which group you belong to. So if you just say, hey, well, I needed affection and I needed X, Y, and Z, so I cheated. Okay, that means you're the unrighteous then. And there's no scenario where that you become the righteous just because you say you need affection and you didn't just start doing this
his
night.
fault. She was saying it was his fault, actually, in the end. Because she says it's my fault, but then really, actually, it's your fault. That's really what she's saying. I mean, if you break it down, like, it is my fault, but really, actually, it's your fault. You weren't doing your job, so like, I just went and found it somewhere else. I thought this was a funny comment. Sorry, it's a total sorry, not sorry. And it reminded me of those videos, those movies. Sorry, not sorry. No. Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
Like,
and let me shout out a few people in the chat. BK from the Rockies, good to see you in here. Roger has already been very active in the chat. D Nice, the glory of Yas, creation, Wendy Moore. Let's see here. Spawn the programmer. Let's see who else. Brother Gas. Ptolemy. Yeah. Hey folks, go ahead and put a comment, drop a comment, say hi, and I'll shout you out just like that. Support the show, like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archived videos. Support independent media. Super chats enabled. Super thanks for the Replay Gang, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. And let's do another one of these. Let's do one more of these, and then you can debut some stuff here. Okay, no, not that one. Okay, this is a little on the light side of it. I've got one that's worse than this. The play. But, one thing that we were saying last week, even on the show, was just this idea that with all these different expressions of Christianity, and everybody's like, the Holy Spirit talked to me, and I'm the one that, he told me to start a new church, and all this, with all of that, and everybody's just as sincere and all like that. And so obviously you can't just go by people saying, I heard from the Holy Spirit. There has to be something else. And when there isn't anything else and people are just able to do whatever, you get stuff like this. Yeah.
What was the water bottle? Is that like
yeah, so he's dumping
water
out
bottle baptism. Water bottle baptism.
I don't know what it is. So here's part of the
getting electrocuted. He just shook the water bottle on the cord. He's I don't know, man.
So here's the problem. You don't know what it is. That's the issue. See,
it could have been an electric cord, man. I don't know. It looked like it could have been.
Yeah, but the value of tradition is so that you kind of have an idea of what's going on. You look at this and it's like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like, this guy's dumping a water bottle out on the guy, and apparently he thinks that there's something, I don't know, like he's getting the Holy Ghost or something. He's having I don't know, maybe he had an epileptic fit or something.
Well, you can feel the Holy Spirit really strong, but I mean, I don't think you're going to be doing that. That's kind of electrocution type of thing going on there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no. I don't doubt feeling the Holy Spirit. That isn't the point.
Yeah.
The point is how are you supposed to conduct yourself, and are you supposed to be doing a bunch of that kind of wild and crazy stuff in front of people? And is that actually the Holy Spirit, or is that you doing something for attention? You want people to know that you are the one that has the Holy Ghost, so you got to do all that wild and crazy stuff. And I always wonder about that. Um, I always wonder about that kind of thing. And even in church services where people just start running around, you know, stuff like that. And it's like,
I've seen
doesn't
it
the Bible
in
say
I've seen it in non-charismatic, dude. There's like these whole I used to go to this one called Holiness, and it's not
Mhm.
the Pentecostal holiness. It's completely different, but it's like they're super like strict, you know what I mean? Like they don't wear makeup, the girls don't wear jewelry, stuff like
Right,
and some of the guys there will like get up and start running around the church. It's pretty rare, but it's happened, you know. I mean, it's
right.
possible. I guess you could really feel God on you or something like that, but it's usually pretty rare. If you're like seeing it, seeing them doing laps every Sunday, it's probably something not right, you know. But
But any lapse at all, it seems to me that the Bible says that things should be done decently and in order. And
right, yeah.
unless
I mean,
they,
I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard it.
yeah, unless there is a specific order that is being followed by some random people running around the church, you know, I know, we are supposed to take care of our body, and maybe the Holy Spirit is causing them to do some cardio because, they have because they're overweight or something. I don't know, but it's not usually the people that are overweight. See, and that's the other thing. If it's really the Holy Spirit, then why aren't the like way overweight people like getting the Holy Spirit to do jumping jacks for like 10 minutes during the
I don't
service?
know. I don't know,
Just
man.
saying.
One time I was like really out of shape, and I felt like God was in motivating me to do some exercise, but I wasn't doing rounds in the
Well,
church. But
no, yeah, you get my point. You get my point. I'm saying it's not the issue.
I'm
Isn't
just saying, I'm just saying there's still miracles, but I think there's a lot of
of
fake
course there's
miracles out
miracles.
there. There's a lot of fake miracles, of course, as well. A lot of
Yeah, yeah.
fake
No, of
stuff out
course
there.
there are miracles.
Yeah,
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying if the house is supposed to be, decent, things are supposed to be done decently
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I know.
then it seems to me that some of that kind of stuff is like, is this an emotional outburst or is this actually the Holy Spirit? So
We
that's
need we need more order, that's for sure. And I've seen some really crazy stuff of recent, and it wasn't really people running around or anything like that in the church. It was more like they went to the church and they asked the minister, "Hey, what do you think about Jesus dying on the cross?" Like, oh, then they'll just like come out with some new age stuff,
Mhm.
like it's completely unbiblical. It's not even remotely like
Yeah.
they just believe whatever they want. Like there's actually churches like that now. Like it's like, oh, we just question everything and we believe whatever we want. Like
Yeah.
completely away, separated from the Bible, and that's just kind of messed up. But
All right. So what do you got for us?
oh, okay. Well, I thought it was kind of curious what happened with Alec Baldwin. It wasn't that long ago that he was in court over what happened with a prop on one of his recent movies that he was trying to shoot, and instead he shoots a person instead of the movie. Right? I think you heard about this, right?
Mm. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. What was interesting though, with regards to this court case, is that he actually was let off. The charges were dropped, which is kind of ridiculous. Why would the charges be dropped when someone actually died? You know, and what's really weird about it as well is you're supposed to like, from what I heard other actors say, you're supposed to be checking the props, and it's like normal protocol. And he's been an actor for a very long time to be checking to make sure the thing is there's nothing in it. And why would there be something in it? Clearly, someone put something in there, right? And then
Right.
also, from what I understand, the person that died, it's a woman. She actually was making a documentary that was going to be exposing some stuff, and then just so happened to die. You see what I
Right.
mean? Like, it just seems really kind of weird how always it seems to be the one that starts talking. They don't get the jobs anymore. They don't in Hollywood, or next thing you know, they're gone or dead in some way, shape, or form. Right? It just seems a little strange to me. I mean, looking at his face there, he looks like he's just lived 100 lives. I mean, his face looks like he's you know what I mean? Like he looks like a hardened criminal almost now. His face.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't. Um. it's understandable to me why they would drop the charges if they were able to rule that it clearly was an accident and he was actually not at fault. If that is the case, then what it means is whoever is actually in charge of the props, the person that actually procures the props, makes sure that the props look realistic, puts blanks in the props, in the case of a gun versus like a real ammo, the person that does that, that person should be charged then, because at least you could say that they're negligent. They
No.
did,
There's like two people negligent because I think he is as well. According to what I understand, the actors are supposed to check it before they use it, and then also there's supposed to be someone, like you said, that actually is over the props. And clearly, something went wrong here. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And then why was he, pointing it towards one of the directors as well? I mean, why is it? It literally hit two people. How do you do that? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Most people they
Yeah,
aim and they can't hit anything. I mean, this guy hit two in
yeah.
one. One. This was so crazy about it. So
It's
to me,
there's a
it
lot
seems
of
like he's negligent
questionable.
too, at least in my opinion. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questionable stuff with the whole thing. I'm not surprised that they let him off of that
But that
because
that it makes you wonder though, if someone wanted this to happen, this would be an easy way to get him off, because then like he didn't know what was happening. Oh, it's just a prop. You know what I mean? But like, how did a real round get in there?
yeah,
It's just
that's the question. Yeah.
right. But I mean, there's actually there's a lot of other stories actually as well. There's another one that's really curious. This I talked about this 3 months ago. I just assumed they found the guy. There's an actor, Julian Sands, who was in Ocean's 13 and Room with a View. He went missing 3 months ago and they never found him. He went on a hiking trip during those winter storms back there in January
Mm.
in Southern California, and they never found the guy. Like, never found his body or nothing. He's just gone. And, it's just kind of weird how these things happen. Uh, I'm trying to think. I think it was Morgan Freeman's niece. Did you hear about that one?
No.
That one's kinda older actually, but, I remember what was it? Her boyfriend was trying to said she had a demon, okay, and he was trying to
Mm.
get it out of her, and he ended up killing her. You never heard about this?
I
I'm
did
pretty
not
sure
hear.
yeah, I can look it up, but, I'm pretty sure it was Morgan Freeman. Um, it was some years ago. It was actually a few years ago. Niece, right, I can't spell here. Yeah, here we go. This is it. I was right. I was thinking right. His granddaughter, okay, Morgan Freeman's granddaughter. It wasn't his I thought it was his niece. It was his granddaughter, apparently. Okay. 20 years, her boyfriend was put in for 20 years in prison. He thought she was possessed, and he was, like, trying to get it out of her or something.
So what was he doing to try to get it out of her?
He used a knife.
Eating? Oh.
Like, either he went crazy or she went crazy or both of them went crazy, or I don't know what happened here. It was at late at night
I,
too.
I have to say this.
He was under the influence of alcohol and drugs, so he might have been just, tripping out or whatever. But I
Right.
mean, it just seems really strange how it always is with these actors. It's like some relative of theirs, you know, where this seems to happen very much more often than people realize. But um,
This is crazy.
Kardashians, for example, they had people that in their family dying in car wrecks left and right and stuff. But yeah.
Well, the uh the Kennedys, man. Look all the
Oh
crazy stuff.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Goodness. Goodness.
That's adding politics to it. Makes it even
Right.
worse. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um
man.
okay, so
Yeah.
here let me show a couple things here.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
See what we got here. Uh-oh. Trying to find my. There it is. We can go. We can go back to good old Matt Walsh.
The
He's
band
been
man.
yeah, he has been his staple. He's been a staple. He says a lot of controversial stuff, and
Yeah, like what's a woman, right?
yeah,
Super controversial. Oh my goodness, what the? Back in the old days, that wasn't considered controversial, but okay.
See what's so crazy about this what is a woman thing is this tells you how fundamentally screwed up we are when someone just by asking the question what is a woman can I mean now he was a known guy before but clearly he is much more known now from just asking the question what is a woman. That is controversial. That's like, oh my goodness, the world's going to end. Oh, he's asking what is a woman. Oh, they're going to have.
The question is, what's the next thing going to be that's controversial? Like, I mean, really, if that's controversial, what isn't controversial? You know what I mean?
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, but let me go ahead and do this. Warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, I just have to do that because, people, they click on a video, they know they're going to get triggered or be offended by it. They sit there, they watch it anyway. They could go somewhere else. It's a free country. Nobody made them watch it. They're not in one of those torture machines where they got your eyes pried open like this and they make you and you're strapped in. That's not what this is. You can choose to go somewhere else. But then they have a big issue and now they want to try to come after you. Oh my goodness. So anyhow, here we go.
So you're saying a trans man has the brain of a woman?
No. I'm saying that a trans man who identifies as a man will tend to have similar brain structure that a cis man would.
And where did you get that from?
Look it up. It's literally, I'm telling you, I learned it from my anatomy class when I was 16. And I looked up the fact before I walked up here because I knew that you would ask.
Okay. That's not true, but it also doesn't answer the question. So let's try to stay focused on one false claim at a time if we can, because we might get bogged down.
Okay.
So you actually started by saying that blocking puberty, which is chemical castration of a child,
Just one example, yeah.
Yeah, is life-saving.
It can be.
How do you know?
Because there are children who have been suicidal that have had these interventions made.
What children? How do you know? And how many children have had that done
Me personally,
and then
I
are
haven't
still
met
suicidal?
children. Me personally, I haven't met enough trans children to answer that question.
Okay.
But I know
You
that
are
the
making-
research exists.
You're making this statement, you're stating it as a fact in front of all these people. There must be a reason, there must be something that you encountered that led you to this rather radical conclusion that to save a child's life, you have to chemically castrate him.
Not every child. No, sir.
Okay, well that is what you just said. The drugs we give to kids for puberty blockers, so-called puberty blockers, originally are cancer drugs used to treat prostate cancer. They're also used to chemically castrate sex offenders and child rapists. Now we give them to physically healthy kids. You're saying that we need to do that or they will die. And so one last time I'm going to ask you, what evidence do you have of that remarkable claim?
I don't think I claimed that every child would benefit from that.
Well, no, I didn't say you did. You said puberty blockers you said puberty blockers are life-saving. What evidence do you have for that?
They can be.
So
the
how do you
evidence
know?
is the encounters with patients who have had these procedures done, and it has saved their, I don't want to say it saved their lives, but it has made their lives better. I can't confirm whether or not they're alive right this second, but there are children that it has helped. So what do you have to say for the happy trans community who has benefited from these procedures? That's my question.
I guess what I have
for
to
you.
say is that your entire question is built on a whole stack of false premises that you can't begin to even remotely defend. So It's a faulty question from the start. I reject your premise. I absolutely reject that there are any kids who need to be chemically castrated in order to be happy.
Okay. Let's.
I reject that.
Okay.
So,
dude.
yeah.
How the hell did we get here is the question.
Yeah.
I was kind of weirded out back like 5 years ago. Was it 5 or 10 years ago when it just started like coming out of nowhere? It's just like being promoted everywhere. The trans stuff, and I mean, I'm okay with someone being trans, whatever. If you want to be, but it's just the fact that it was being promoted everywhere. I was like, why is it being promoted everywhere? And then now we're literally in this position right now where we're talking about kids. I'm like, why are kids involved? Why are we promoting this? What I mean, just leave the kids alone, dude. Just leave them alone.
Yep.
I mean, just leave them alone. Let them grow up and then choose. Stop choosing for them and pretending like they're choosing for themselves.
Yeah. It's
I mean, kids think they're
really,
like helicopters and stuff. They don't know what they are, and just they're kids, dude.
yeah. That's where
Yeah,
I
I
draw.
just showed this funny meme. I showed this funny meme today. Let me show you. Well, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. I'll pull it up though. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and show me.
Right here. Can you drive a car? No. Can you pick your bedtime? No. Can you drink a beer? No. Can you vote? No. Can you cut off things? Yes, you can cut off things. You can't vote, can't fight for your country, can't do anything. And the irony is now we get married at age 40 or 30 instead of age 20 like they did in the old days. But and we have 40-year-olds that shouldn't probably vote because they're still living in their parents' basement or whatever, you know what I mean? But I mean, you see what I'm saying. So it's just kind of the irony of our time, I guess. Yeah, kids can't drink beer, but my kids said it'll make them happy. So just give them beer. Okay, just let them vote. They make them happy. Let them pick their bedtime. They want to go to bed late. You know, what the heck, dude? Let the kid drive the car. He wants to drive, man. Come on. Why
Yeah.
are you trying to take away the kid's happiness?
It's really silly. Yeah, kids really don't. You know, I think it's the definition of uh, abuse. It's of child abuse to allow your kid or to encourage your kid to do that. I just think it's the definition of child abuse. You're supposed to protect your kid. It's not just protecting them from other people. You're protecting your kid often from themselves. You're telling them stuff like, "Don't put your hand on the stove." Yeah, get away from the element. Yeah, don't put your finger in the light socket there. You see there's a car coming, don't you? Stop.
Right. Yeah.
You're protecting kids from themselves.
Well, it's
how is this any different? How is this any different?
Well, I'm thinking like knowledge versus wisdom, or ability versus wisdom. I mean, like if you have knowledge but you don't have wisdom with that knowledge, then you're going to use like a kid can't understand what a stove is when they're very young. So they may understand when you say it's hot, but they don't have the wisdom to understand fully what it means to be hot and burn their hand or something like that. They haven't had the experience. That's why when we look at older people, we think, they've had more years of experience. So we respect them, or at least we're used to respect people that are older, even if they may not have as much knowledge as you, or maybe whatever. The fact is they've lived longer and they've seen more. So they've experienced more than you. Right. So obviously a kid hasn't experienced enough to know what's what, that's just kind of how I look at it. It's a knowledge versus, it's kind of like in the Garden of Eden with the devil tempting Adam and Eve with knowledge, but they didn't have the wisdom to know what to do with the knowledge.
Right. That's a good point. Let me play one more and then let's head back over to you. Let's see here. Okay. Maybe not this one. Let's wait on that one. Let's not do that one. Let's see here. Okay. Here we go. This is cool. So this is I'll just go ahead. She's putting pastors on blast right now. So let's go ahead and watch.
Pastors, please get it together. You guys should not be worried about the affairs of what's going on with the mayor or the business administration when you don't even have the faculties to go out into the public and witness to people, but yet you can tell them, bring you all the tithes into the storehouse and that there'll be meat in my house. But in the meanwhile, we got people like Mr. Leroy that's hungry. We got people that's going homeless left and right. And that's not every pastor. You know, there's always one bad apple in the bunch that'll make you look at the whole tree as being polluted and poisoned. You can't offer me filet mignon and put shit on it and tell me it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. You guys got to do better. And I'm not even talking about the council. I'm talking about the pastors now. And I'm a preacher's kid, so I could go there like that. And I'm going to go there like that. And I don't care who gets offended. Pastors, stay in your lane. Pastor Lagarde, we thank God for you because you actually be out there in the streets with us. But these other fake Negro pastors in Patterson that do nothing to bring people off the streets to get them to get salvation, and you're only strong in the four walls. You're not strong in the street. We don't see you in the first ward. We don't see you praying for people. All we do is see you fake prophesying on Sunday mornings. Knock it off. Stay out of the business administration. Stay out of Andre's business. He's already polluted and corrupted enough. For the pastors, you already know you're going to have to give an account to God. We expect this from people in the street. But there ought to be more spiritual responsibility, more spiritual morality. Get your shit together.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Now, let me apologize for the language. She used a little bit of spicy language, but she kind of saying the right stuff. There is a lot of hogwash going on in the churches today, and I would argue that a lot of the reason why some of these social issues that we have been so pernicious, have been sort of unchecked. It's because the pastors ain't doing nothing. They're not saying nothing.
Well, it's more than that too, man. It's more. I think it is a church, actually. They don't realize it, but I think it is a church. The reason why we have this huge divide right now in America, I think, is partially started with the church, with trying to be, ultra conservative in some respects. Like, oh, you can't do this. And then they can't even back it up with the Bible. They don't even look in the old ancient languages, nothing. They just like read it in King James English and they think they know what it says. And then of course they come out with their doctrines and they don't let anybody think. I feel like this evil hand got into the church and just kind of directed it different ways, It kind of like you see with the government as well. This evil hand gets in there and just directs it whatever way it wants. So I think the devil gets into the church. I think the devil is inside the church, outside the church, and then he's able to make the people in the church look like hypocrites. So then the devil can go outside the church and say, "See, look, they're all hypocrites. Don't go over there." So the devil's like in the church making the hypocrites, and then he goes outside the church and say, "Don't go over there," like that. You know what I mean? That's how I think how it works.
That's definitely the case. It used to be that there were three sort of archetypes. Three people in society that were always, pushing back. And one of them was preachers. So you had a number of ministers. I mean, people like Martin Luther King. You had people like Graham. You had people like a really good one just died recently.
There was like a guy back before Graham that like would have stadiums full everywhere. I can't remember his name, but he was massive. I think he was as big as Graham almost, and he was way before Graham as well. He was like back in the black and white days. I don't even remember his name though. I forgot.
And Billy Graham. And the only reason I mentioned Billy Graham, I didn't mention him because he was filling football stadiums. I don't care about it. I said it because he was unrelenting. he
Well,
was
I think he
saying,
was good in the old days. He was good in the old days. He got kind of screwed up at the end, but I know what you're saying though.
yeah, I mean, well, for much of his career, he was saying, I mean, he was very assertive. He was brave. He was saying the right stuff. And uh, we used to have, so we used to have pastors. We had comedians, and comedians would do it, but in a different way. And then you had tenured professors. Part of the purpose of tenure is so that the professor can actually say things that are inconvenient. They're not no fear of losing their job, right? You can go where the research leads, and you can be critical of all kinds of things. So social issues and a number of things. Now, a number of professors have definitely used that, but it's been negative the way that they've used it. They've pushed certain agendas that have actually been worse for us. But historically, those were the three sort of offices, as it were, that you had folks that were doing the work. They were constantly highlighting stuff that was wrong, stuff that was laughable. Not too long ago, you'd have people telling jokes, exposing, certain things like this whole transgender thing. Like you can't even joke about that. There's been one comedian that has been able to joke about that, but now everybody's try to act like they're trying to cancel him. But it's been Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle has been unwilling to sort of bend the knee to a bunch of this stuff, and he's not disrespectful. It's not like he's telling jokes and everybody can get some, right? Because he's a comedian.
But
right?
he left for a while. You remember? He left. Didn't he
He
go
did.
to Africa or something for a while? And we were making videos way back when about that, like people in my realm, and we were thinking it's because he was trying to escape Hollywood, and and actually that's I recently put up a couple videos about that. I had an interview with, of Mel Gibson where he's talking about what Hollywood really is like. Uh, that they try to essentially control you and get you to go along with the program, and it's like kind of like a corrosive thing. Like if you think you can somehow keep your integrity while you're there, but eventually it will wear you down, and it's all about money and control. So
Yep.
at any rate,
It gets tough. The love of money is the root of all evil. All right, let's head back over to you.
okay, all right. So actually, I wanted to play a clip. Maybe I'm trying to think of. I think this might be a good one. Oh, actually, I can't play a clip. It doesn't play the audio, does it? Oh, that's right, man. Never mind. Okay, I'll just show you something else. This is kind of curious. Did you hear about this? The guy was in Creed 3. Let's see if I can get it on the screen better. I don't know if I can get it on the screen better. Marvel fans can't believe how quickly Jonathan Majors has gone from franchise savior to huge issue. Do you hear about this guy?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the guy who was in Creed 3. A bunch of women coming out with allegations that he had done something wrong, to them. And I'm kind of wondering if this is another Bill Cosby thing, or is this like with Bill Cosby, I think a lot of it was made up. There might have been a couple actual real ones in there, but I think most of them were made up because I actually did videos covering it. But I don't know in this case what this guy's going through. But he has women accusing him, and it could be true. I mean, Bill Cosby probably did some bad things. I'm sure he did, but they made it out to a much bigger thing than it was, I think. You know what I mean? Back then. Because I actually did research on every single one of them, and it was like only a few of them actually held any water. Most of them were like really ridiculous. Like probably about 20 of them were just basically like, oh, like there's this lady's at a concert, and he's standing behind her with there's a lot of people in the area. There's like a ton of people standing, and she felt something touch her, and then she turned around and she just assumed it was him, but had no proof. But that was the kind of stuff that was going, to make him look bad back then. At any rate, this guy is going through some of that right now. Allegations of assault and harassment and that kind of stuff. In recent weeks, apparently more than one woman as well. So I don't know what's going on with that. Did you see that movie anyways? Creed 3?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw
Yep.
that. I saw that too.
It was a
That was
good
pretty
movie.
good. Yeah, it was not bad. It was. I wouldn't say it's the best Rocky movie, but it was. It was. I would say it's up there. It's pretty good, man. It wasn't bad. But so what do you think of that? I know you're into men's things, men's right or men's stuff. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I did a stream this morning, and the title of that stream was, let me let me find the name of it real quick, so I can speak intelligently, knowledgeably about it. But okay, here we go. So the name of that video was, okay, yeah. Okay, um yeah, I've done a couple of these where I'm talking about, there's a racial angle to it. I'm pro men. Um, Part of what I like to talk about, a lot of what I like to talk about is black men in particular being aware of their surroundings. Be sober, be vigilant, for your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, right? And understand who the enemies are, and how easily it is for people that you may trust, and you allow them to get close to you, for them to actually do some really nefarious stuff. And women can be your downfall. Women can easily be your downfall. And one thing I was mentioning this morning was, I've been scandal free, and the reason I've been scandal free, Mike Pence rule in full effect.
Or Billy Graham. Billy Graham did the exact same thing, by the way. That's the first guy to do it.
That's right.
Wouldn't
Actually,
be in a room with another woman, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Actually, Billy Graham got it from someone else too.
Oh,
But
did
the
he?
Mike
Okay.
rule is actually the Billy Graham rule, which is actually somebody else's rule. And
Yeah.
and in as you're conducting yourself, even on your job and stuff, like, I don't do the thing where meeting one on one with like female coworkers and stuff like that. I don't do the, and never have I done the thing where
That's
you
probably
meet.
really smart in your case. Really smart in your case, man, because you're a professor and stuff. I've seen it with pastors. Same thing happened. We had a pastor at my church. You know, the church we used to go to when I was a kid?
Right.
Happened to him. Some woman accused him while they were in a meeting in a room alone. And
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't believe it.
You can't do that stuff. But the name of the video, I was talking about Steven Crowder's divorce. So Steven Crowder divorce, every Becky has Karen potential, and Karen is the white man's kryptonite.
How's it go again?
Okay, now so check it out. So a Becky, this is just
what's a Becky, anyways? My mother's named Becky, but go ahead.
yeah. It's a Becky is a white woman. That's
Okay.
that's colloquialism for
So
for a white.
my mom's the official white woman. All right.
Actually, my mom's middle name is Becky.
Is it really? No way.
Yeah, Rebecca.
I didn't know that.
It's Rebecca, right? So
that's my mom's formal name, Rebecca, right?
Right. So every Becky has Karen potential. You know what a Karen is?
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Okay.
Or
Karen is the white man's kryptonite. So, and what I mean by that is, Karen can Me Too you, right? Karen can, let me get your manager. They can get you fired. They can act like, you did something to them. You didn't do anything. You didn't give them what they wanted. So now they can make you pay because they know how to take advantage of the system. They know that police are going to tend to believe the woman. It doesn't matter what happens in a physical altercation. If the woman was the one that was hitting, she can just say, no, he did it. And if the guy says, no, she hit me, it doesn't matter. They're taking the dude away. Dude is at least spending a couple nights in jail.
Well,
Right?
there's more to it than that too. There's also the flirt factor. I told you about when I was in college.
Mhm.
Some woman slid right out in front of me in the snow, and I hit her not because I could stop. I couldn't stop. It was all icy. You know what I mean? But she wasn't supposed to be
Right.
there in front of me like that. But at any rate, she was like hitting on the cops, and they didn't even give her a breathalyzer, nothing, dude. So you know what I mean? Like that's another factor on top of her being a woman. You also have the flirting factor, but
Right. But the point is that women can mess you up. And in the case of John Majors, and this is why I brought up the color stuff to Dennis Deere in the comments there.
oh, I didn't even see his comment. Lots of comments.
Major's girlfriend, the white woman, and I'm pretty sure that a bunch of these folks that are coming out are,
Oh,
and so is
you said black
much
women?
of a Karen as much of a Karen as what you thought was a Becky was just a traditional conservative, good-natured Becky that you find out is actually a Karen. As much as that can be kryptonite to the white man, what do you think she can do to a black man? And if you look
This
at
sounds like a Sotomayor episode here.
yeah, but if you look back through history, the original Me Too, what the original Me Too was it was white women claiming that black men had done something to them, and then those black men were lynched.
Oh, okay.
That's
I was thinking a long
the
time
original
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the original Me Too, and one of the reasons why black folks, black men in particular, should not be some sort of fans of Me Too or of Believe All Women, because what that does is that's bringing back some stuff that we don't want to see come back. We need due process.
Well, with Bill Cosby, he was trying to start his own network, and that was right after he started trying to make this his own network that they did all this. All these women come out of nowhere, and all the media's covering it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was to stop him from having his own network because he was sort of like the father figure for the black community. I thought like everybody looked up to him, thought he was a really good actor, et cetera, and they wanted to destroy his character. And I think that's why I did a few videos on that, because I was pretty sure most of it was lies or all of it. And I went through every single woman. I could actually debunk almost all of them, except for there's like 5 of them I couldn't. And there's like 40 of them that were claiming stuff. And there's only like 5 that actually could have even held any water. So you could tell the media actually blew it out of proportion and made it much bigger than it was. You know what I mean? And it was back in the time, and the 5 were back in the time when people thought a little different too. So there's another factor. Like they'll go back 10 years in your Twitter and find you saying something that used to be okay to say, and now it's not okay to say, right?
Yep. That's what they did to Kevin Hart. They went dumpster diving 10 years. They found a 10-year-old tweet where he was telling a joke about some sort of gay reference, some joke, and he was talking about his kid. And if he said something like, if my kid is gay, I'm going to kill him, or something, some goofy like that. It was totally
that was
a
like
joke.
back in the old days.
And it was 10 years ago. And actually,
Right.
this is more like 12 years ago now, because this is like an old story. And that's why he couldn't do the Oscars that year. He was supposed to be the host for the Oscars. So they sat him down. There was like, hey, you can't do it now because we found this 10-year-old tweet. It's like, what?
They moved the goalposts. They moved
And
the goalposts.
he's a comedian. And he's a comedian.
Right. He could have been joking too. Right. It could have been joking. It could have been a joke. Well, that's why I said I delete my old stuff. I mean, I had videos from 10 years ago on YouTube. If I left all my videos up, I would have been gone, dude. I was trying to talk about everything. Back then it was completely different topics that were controversial back 10 years ago compared to today's controversial. But I was talking about controversial stuff back then. And I actually had 2 strikes on my channel back in the early days because I kept talking about too many controversial stuff. But it wasn't like this stuff. It wasn't political. It wasn't trans. It was none of that stuff. It was just, I was just like, what about this topic? What about this? I was like talking about women squirting, dude. I was talking about everything crazy. And if you even go on YouTube right now and look up God Rules, there's a video of a funny atheist channel. What's his name? I can't remember his name offhand right now. There's an atheist channel that basically was taking my video and making comedy out of it because I was asking. I was actually honestly asking the question, is it real and all this stuff back. I was like talking about everything you're not supposed to talk about. Like I just got, because we had free speech, you know, you're just like, well, what about this topic? It's a crazy topic. Let's talk about that, you know? And he actually turned it into a really funny video. What the hell is that guy's name? I can't remember. I'll find it. While you're talking, I'll find it. I can't remember the dude's name. What the hell is that dude's name? I just can't remember. Atheists. Let me look up atheists.
Yeah, but my while you're looking for that, but my point.
Yeah, here it is. I found it.
Okay.
I found it. Why Girls Are Scary featuring God Rules. If you put it on my thing, I can show it real quick. I won't play the video, but I'll show you the screenshot of it on my sharing. Can you flip it over to sharing real quick? I'll show you.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem.
I was reading one of the comments.
It was this. So you can see it's 8 years old, right? And he took a video that was even older from that. It was like 10 years old probably, where I'm just asking ridiculous questions on YouTube because I back then I didn't care. I was just doing it for fun. I wasn't like here to make money. I was just doing it for fun and asking crazy questions. And, you know, this atheist thought it was funny, so he made a funny video out of it, you know, and it is pretty funny, actually, the video, but the channel's called Logic. He's an atheist. And I used to like argue with atheists back then. That was my whole thing too. And I would talk about all the controversial stuff back then, but at any rate, that's another topic there. Serious illnesses. There's a bunch of people with serious illnesses right now in Hollywood as well, but go ahead. If you're going to show me something, if you want to show something, that's fine.
Yeah, here, I got something. I do want to make a comment about somebody in the chat. I want them to understand something. Let's see here. Something about this guest needs to drop the Karen, Becky. Likewise, we are better than this man. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. Show love out of respect for those that give their life for this cause. To act like an immature teen. Okay, so I'm not sure what exactly the reference is, but so it's clear. It's not a pejorative. It is not a negative.
If you're named Becky or Karen, it's not referring to you. So I mean, that's a.
It's not a pejorative. A Becky is not that's not pejorative. That's just a description. It's just a nickname. Now,
because my mom's named Becky, and I'm not getting offended, you know.
Right.
So
and now Karen. Some folks have taken the Karen thing as to be some sort of, you know, anti-white slur or something like this, but
no,
it's not that at all. Actually, it's a description of a certain kind of person that is, you know, trying to, you know, call your manager all the time, trying to use the system as a way to weaponize them, you know, using, you know, whatever nefarious.
Well, it's not always calculating. It could be just emotional. Emotional woman that overreacts, goes crazy, and does crazy stuff. You know, it could be that too.
Well,
not so calculating even.
I suppose when I use the term, I'm really targeting the person that knows how to use the system as a way to get what it is that they want, and it doesn't matter if there's truth to what it is that they want or not. Like,
I just watch a bunch of funny Karen videos, you know. That's probably why. That's where I get it from.
yeah. So anyhow, but we understand what that reference is. So it's not a pejorative. But like I said, Becky is not a pejorative.
I never even heard of it.
But if we are to but if we are to, you know, act as though everything is the same in society, it is not. And I'm not a person that spends a lot of. I'm not a person that spends a lot of time, you know, complaining about racism. For instance, I talk about racism because it exists. It's a fact, and folks that you know, in particular, black men need to be aware of what's going on. And I brought it up in this context only because Jonathan Major's girlfriend is white, and many of these women that have come forward are white. And the point is that if you think that it's the same, if you think
is
that
it white? Is it white women or black women coming forward? I didn't understand that.
well, he tends to date white women.
But who's the women coming forward though? Are they black or white, or does it matter? Or is it like?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be believable unless they were white women, or at least if most of them were white women. I mean, these are women that he actually had interactions.
Oh yeah, because you're saying because they had to be somebody he was with before, right?
Right. So,
okay.
but my point is that if you think it would be the same thing if these were black women that were coming forward, if it would have the same weight, I don't know what rock you've been living under. I mean, it's not being you're not being, to me it seems like you're being purposely being obtuse not to know that there's going to be a difference there. Okay? And now I would argue that both are a problem, and this is why
I had a question about racism. I had a question because I don't ever talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and it just seems like everybody's so. The media, the social media is just like moving goalposts, changing things all the time. Definitions are changing every time you turn around. And like, even now, if you're like, you know, positive about your ethnic background or something, that makes you a racist. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? Like, everything is racist now. Everything's, you know, this, that, and the other. And I've even seen definitions. I've been looking up other definitions of words, and like, I can't remember what the word was the other day. I was looking, it wasn't recession. It was some other word. I looked up another word and they like changed the definition. I think it was fascism. I looked that up on Google and they changed the definition. I'm like, what the hell, man? They're like changing all the definitions too now. I'm like, they keep changing everything around. I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to have a conversation if they keep changing definitions? You know, I guess they don't really want a conversation. They just want to demonize people. Is that what we're doing? Is that the whole point?
Pretty much. That's pretty much what's happened.
It's a breakdown of language. It's a breakdown of talking. If you can't talk, then it's all fight. And if it's all fight, then it's not good. It's the end. You can't work together if you can't talk. Right?
Yeah. So anyhow.
Well, they were saying fascism is just being like nationalistic or something. I'm like, really? Okay. So it's kind of funny. I looked up the old definition. It didn't have that in there. I'm like, okay, they just added that in there. And then they also added capitalism too. They said it could be capitalist. It didn't say that in the original definition either. It's like, they're like adding it in to make it look like it's Trump supporters or some BS like that.
Yeah. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. And it's what's funny too is the fascist thing is okay, so we know that the fascists were actually socialists, right? The initial ones.
But they're trying to tell us they can be capitalists now. They're saying they're capitalists now. So I was like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, and that's a great thing when they started using that term to describe folks that are on the political right. I was like, you must not understand the history of fascism. You must not know what fascist is.
Hey, go ahead, man. Keep going. I got to show you something in a minute here.
Now I will say, and I'll just go over to your screen now. I will say that it is possible to be on the political right and to be a fascist. That still is possible.
Did you see this verse? Verse? Look at this verse. Ecclesiastes 10:2 will solve this whole thing for you, folks. A wise man's heart inclines him to the right, but a fool's heart to the left.
There we go.
I never even saw that. So I saw that on somebody's website. I'm like, that's hilarious. I've never even seen that before.
That's great.
It's like those verses where it says, Jesus talked about weed, and it says here there was a lot of grass, in the area.
Oh. Okay, so
I'm
here I've
just
got.
curious what he meant by that too. I'm really curious what that means. Anyways, I'm like, what left or right? I don't think it really means he could have switched it left or right either way, but it's kind of
Right.
interesting though, right?
Yeah, I don't think it means the same as obviously political, but it's obvious just
Hey, there's the answer there. There's the answer, bro.
right. Okay, so let's play this. This has been sort of trending and is somewhat viral at this point. So again, this is a TikTok video, but men, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for this.
Did he say a 6-year-old too, or just a
Yep.
pregnancy?
Both.
Like it might not be his. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
6 years old.
So
6
this
years old,
obviously
dude.
there's like a billion issues with this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So first of all, notice that she tries to keep deflecting. He's questioning her as to if she's pregnant by another man. They're married or at least live together, and he is assuming that the 6-year-old is his kid. So they're together. She is some sort of stay-at-home something, sleeping with somebody else, and is glib, flippant when he asked the question about, is this my baby that you're pregnant with? And then he's like, well, how could it be yours? You're not even around here. And the reason that he's not around is because he's working to provide for her. Right? And
I didn't understand. He was gone for 2 or 3 days. So maybe he's driving a semi, or what is he doing? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what he's doing, but it's more likely that he didn't come home one night and was working double for 2 days or something. And because he said, look,
he might have to travel for his job too. He'd be traveling. I don't know.
Yeah. And so apparently he didn't call her, or maybe his phone died, or whatever happened. But
so it's like an excuse for her. It's an excuse for her to go do something if he doesn't call.
Yeah. It's not. Well, it's not even that. She just, in the moment, she's grabbing for anything that she can say because she's obviously wrong. But the thing is that this is a new level, because it used to be that when you got caught, you'd have some shame about your stuff.
Oh, you'd be crying and stuff or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before.
You had some shame about you. But now it's like this double down strategy. It's like this, I am, I'm worth more than this. I deserve this and that. So that's why I get to do this, and I get to have attitude, though obviously wrong. I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to point out some stuff that you're doing so that it makes it seem like I'm justified in my BS. That's what we're seeing more often now. It used to be that people would be really, really ashamed and embarrassed about something like this. But now it's like they're emboldened and they know that there's nothing that you can do. Now, he said that he's going to put her out, but he can't put her out. You know why he can't put her out? Because there's laws against putting her out. She's been staying there. She's been staying
where he
for
lives.
a certain period of time. Yeah, she's been staying there for a certain period of time, which means that you can't just kick her out. She has to have notice. She has to been given like an eviction notice, and even with that, can't even do anything.
Well, like you're talking like Michigan or California, maybe a lot of states. I don't know, but I don't think it's every state. Hopefully, it wouldn't be every state. That'd suck, dude. If it was every state.
But if this is legally his kid, the 6-year-old, if it's legally his kid,
right,
and if they are married or have been cohabitating for beyond a certain period of time, even if you just had a roommate that you did not have a relationship with, you can't just put them out. And then the other issue is, even if the kid in shout out to CGA. He made a couple of these points that I'm making earlier today. He looked at the same video. Even if the baby is not his that she's pregnant with, you can't be kicking pregnant women out. It doesn't play well. There's not you don't have an angle that you can play. So he would have to basically wait until after she had the kid, get a DNA test on the kid and on the kid that she has been saying is his, and then would have to sue for paternity fraud. Those and all that stuff costs money. And if this dude is spending all these hours out working, it's not likely that he's going to have enough disposable income or the time to do all the stuff necessary, which is going to take him away from work.
Well, I was thinking, like you were saying earlier about, I mean, obviously that's a hard situation, but I'm thinking, yeah, back 10, 20 years ago, I remember watching like the show Cheaters. I think it was 20 years ago. And like, they were never like this, where they would just like say, yeah, it's your fault. Or, they would never have that attitude. Like you're saying, it was always like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm crying. They like start crying and stuff. And it was more like that. But now all of a sudden, in the last 5-10 years, it's been like, a lot of them are just emboldened, like, oh, I deserve more and you're not giving me what I need and all this kind of BS, instead of actually having any sort of conscience left, like, oh, I did something wrong. Maybe I should apologize. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember it being like that before 20 years ago. I watched Cheaters. I don't remember any of them doing that kind of stuff. You remember it? I don't remember them doing it back then.
Yeah.
Women.
I mean, I
started noticing it when Sotomayor started talking about it, that it started going kind of the other direction. And that was like maybe 5-10 years ago when he started talking about it. And of course he lost a ton of accounts on.
Well, no, he started kind of going in and talking about stuff. I say as early as like 2010, 2011, like that.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it wasn't exactly the same thing. He would call them Terminators and stuff. And like, he would show them like in the line at McDonald's and fighting or something dumb, stuff like that. He wasn't always about,
one thing I think is one thing I think is interesting and is you get criticized, like they'll criticize you for posting stuff of other people acting like a fool, as if you're doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just showing you what other people are doing. Hey, look, I'm not doing this. I'm just letting you know this is the stuff that's going on, and I'm providing some commentary saying that, yeah, this is not good behavior. Don't be getting mad at me. And also don't try to act like it's like we're pretending. We're showing you the footage. This stuff actually is taking place, and it's happening with a regularity. And it's like we said, people are emboldened and they're just aggressive and assertive about it now. Let me play one more here, and I think you have anything else you want to show too?
Yeah, there is actually one other one that's kind of interesting as well. I could show.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Is it that one? What is that? No, I don't want to. I'm not going to play that one. Let's see, what is this? Okay. I'm gonna play this. This is again. This is along the sort of paternity side of things. So let's go ahead and play this. Now, one thing to note, and you can see the caption at the top. This was her fourth, and this is a guy that's pictured right now. But but he is there by the request of this woman. This woman has been on the show. This is her fourth appearance with a different guy, right? On the show to find the father of her son. This is the fourth. Okay? All right. So let's take a listen.
But Mar, you're gonna say are not the father.
Whatever, Mar. No, Mar, before you go on this house, let me do my little bit.
you'll be seeing it again.
Yes!
Emma, the problem is you should have been known who you were doing the dance with.
I was doing it for him. You hoe.
When it comes to 1-year-old Elijah, Ryan, you are not.
Oh my goodness, dude. That's hilarious.
Whoa, get away. So he is a
Well, I was thinking he's going to be the winner of the negative lottery there for a second, because he's the fourth guy on the show. It's only so many guys, right? But apparently there's another one.
All of that greasy talk she was doing, all of that, hey, I'm gonna be dancing and stuff when I find out, and then the dude is not the father. It's
All
like,
she wants is the money,
man.
dude. She just wants money.
It's oh my goodness, it's just totally ridiculous. Okay, let's see what you got for us.
All right, so there's this guy. You remember the show Drake and Josh? I mean, it's not really. You've probably seen her before. Oh no. Okay, you seen that show Drake and Josh before?
I don't
It
know.
was it's a Disney show like 20 years ago on TV. It's kind of like when we were like 20 or something, 20 something. It was kind of one of those Disney shows. He disappeared apparently, and they were trying to figure out where he was. And this was a little while ago, what was it, a week ago or something, or 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. He disappeared. He was in like a completely different state. He's a married guy with a son, all this kind of stuff. This guy's named Drake Bell. And at any rate, they found him like a day later because they were concerned where he was at and all this kind of stuff. He's like an actor, you know what I mean? And what's really kind of weird about it is, of course, his wife, very shortly after that, files for divorce, right after they find him. And I think he was out doing something he shouldn't have been doing, as I'm guessing, because he was at a high school. Like, why would he be at a high school in another state? You know what I mean? He had no kids there or anything. But from what I understand, he's been mired in trouble, even had a guilty plea of not taking care of his own son in child
neglect.
Yeah, some endangerment or something like that. Apparently, I think he might be doing some. I don't know if he's doing something because he was sucking in nitrous oxide, I guess, from a balloon or something. I don't understand that. I don't understand. I guess, is that like, I don't know what that is. What is that? That's not helium, obviously. What is that something that people do? I don't even know anything about it. Do you know about that?
If they do, say that again.
Nitrous oxide.
Oh yeah, nitrous. Yeah.
Is that like some sort of?
What is it? Balloons or something?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Does that get you high or something, or what?
Yeah, the nitrous. It's yeah. Yep.
So apparently,
laughing
that's what
gas.
he was doing.
Yeah, it's laughing gas. It's what they give you like when you go to the dentist.
Oh, okay, the dentist or something, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard of that in a long time. Apparently, he was hooked on that or something. I don't know, but a lot. It's just like all these other child actors, like Britney Spears, all of them. They end up something wrong with them later in life. Corey Feldman. Apparently, this is yet another one. Drake Bell, him also having lots of problems, and so it makes you wonder what they really do. Of course, to these that are younger in Hollywood, right? Because a lot of them seem to be pretty screwed up as they get older. And here's yet another example of one having lots of problems, just trying to live his life, after, not, I don't know if he does any movies anymore or anything, but yeah, actually he does. I think he does voice acting, like Disney, you have voices on these movies and stuff, like, whatever Disney movie, they have voice acting and stuff. I think he does some of that, but so, some are wondering if he is one of those PEDOs, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the case. Maybe not. Maybe he's just, sucking up some stuff and just not taking care of things and just all off, having mental issues and stuff. Because that was another thing too. Apparently he's having mental issues as well. All of this seems to be very common in Hollywood now, like all those that were younger going through this when they get older. But
yeah, it's pretty funky. I've got one more for us. Wait a minute. Wrong button here. Okay. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, I'm not going to play that one. Okay, so I think this is going to be the one. And this is kind of dark, but it also, this is taking place in a church. There's a certain protocol, and when you're outside of a certain context, this kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that can happen, right? Now, granted, I'm sure nobody knew what she was about to do, but you want to talk about yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. And this is sensitive in nature, so let me go ahead and
warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, so if you're easily triggered, this might not be the thing to watch.
I was raped at 8.5 years old. I kept it to myself because I didn't know who to trust. They all look like him. 8.5 years old. Taffy, come up here.
Oh, God.
How old are you? 8. He's 8 years old. I was 8.5 when my mother's boyfriend took my childhood away from me. But God,
the blood of Jesus against that.
My mother knew about it. Okay, fine.
My God.
My mom came to me 2 days ago.
The blood of Jesus.
My mom was raped.
The
It's not
blood.
that. Okay,
No.
I'm bringing awareness.
She is lying.
Lying.
She is lying. You about to say the blood of Jesus against her.
She's never hugged me.
She is lying.
No.
She is lying. She is lying. And there is a God in heaven. She is lying. She lies and she does.
We are dismissed.
in the world, bro? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now,
Do you know any context to that, or what the heck, man? Did that really happen, or is she not telling the truth? Or I'm kind of wondering what's going on there.
I don't think it's a skit.
Yeah, I don't think that's a skit either. That don't look like no skit to me.
Yeah, real. And I mean, there's all kinds of things that are
That's her
wrong.
mom. Is that her mom? Her mom was sitting there, right?
That's her mom.
But she didn't say anything until she said that. So she knew she was going to lead up to that. Or you would assume she knew.
Maybe she did, or maybe she didn't. And maybe she was just shocked. Maybe she was just shocked, and they're in church, and maybe she thought it was an opportunity. She was trying to maybe do that as a way to maybe cause other people to feel like they could, have somebody to talk to about it, open up about it, maybe have an altar call where people that, something happened to them when they were kids, or, try to break the cycle. There's all that kind of stuff that could have been the thing. So she could have just been sitting there like either in shock or just thinking, well, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. and then obviously when she starts, basically saying it was my mom's boyfriend and she knew about it, when she starts going there, then that's when she has to stand up and be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna let you do that." But so here's now the point here is not did this actually happen or not? Is this true or not? Okay, I'm going to assume that it probably is true, and it is a common thing that actually happens in communities. One of the benefits of having a dad around is if the kids have the dad around, they're much less likely for this kind of stuff to happen, because the dad that sends a certain signal to certain kinds of people. They know that they can't be around because there's a dad there that's not going to let them do stuff.
Right.
But often is the case if you have a single mother and this guy starts showing interest, and not only does he like me, but he likes my kid too. Hey, this seems like this is great. There's a lot of predators, and they're just hanging out, waiting for this situation. One of the reasons why what's going on disproportionately in certain communities is so devastating is because the strong man, the guard, the person that's supposed to protect, if he's been, exiled, if he's nowhere to be found, you're going to have a lot of this kind of stuff happen. In certain communities, the numbers of young girls and young boys that have been, through these, these sort of traumatic situations with these predators, it's sky high. It's way too high because the men are not around. The men are not there to defend and to protect.
Yeah, I saw like a gasoline closed caption where a woman had a boyfriend and was taking the kid to shop or whatever, I guess at the local, like gas station will have like a little mart in it or something. And it showed him like kicking the kid around in the mart, just literally kicking the kid around. And that was what, so that you don't see that when the woman's around, she doesn't see any of this stuff happening. Right. But,
Right.
cause he won't do it then.
And not only will they not do it then, you're a single mother, you're exhausted from working and doing all this stuff. So you're just happy when someone takes interest in your kid and, oh, this person can like give me a little relief. I can take a nap or I can go and do whatever else. And I know now I know I have somebody that can watch the kid. Yeah, it's 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 messed up. It's messed up. But this is another reason why marry before you carry. And when you get married, stop willy-nilly divorcing guys. Women are filing 80% of the divorces.
Well, it's a cultural issue right now, and we have social media really perpetuating all this stuff, and so you have these guys that are like, "Oh, you should never get married," all this kind of stuff. Their whole mindset is because of the culture. If they were back 20 years ago, you wouldn't have this problem, or maybe 30 years ago, or whatever. But not as bad, at least, right?
Right.
So that's a big factor as well. Of course, also is right around the time that they started the abortion and they took God out of schools that a lot of the stuff started just going crazy. The divorce rate went really high right around the time they took God out of school, right around the time of Roe versus Wade. That's all when everything started going crazy with the divorces and everything. So I think there's a big factor there spiritually, and also, not having God there, bad things can happen, and if you don't have any moral code either, that's another factor. What are you taught? If they could have taught the 10 Commandments, They want to. My wife just told me there's an article. Someone was trying to stop them from putting the Ten Commandments in Texas schools. Like, what is the big deal about the Ten Commandments? You don't want them to steal, right? Do you want them to kill? Do you want them to commit adult? You know what I mean? It's like really very simple rules. And I just saw this other video. My friend sent me a video of a Target in Portland, and all the rows are locked up. Like there's glass in front of everything on every roll now because they made it okay to steal. And now all these companies are leaving Portland, like Best Buy, Walmart, all these companies are leaving Portland because they're just getting robbed all the time. And it's okay, just let them rob. So now Target actually put everything behind glass, everything, like the entire, like rows and rows of just glass. You have to literally go up to someone and say if you want something, they'll unlock it so you can even get something now. Thou shalt not steal. We don't want that in the classroom, though. We don't want people in Portland to see in the classroom, do not steal, do not kill. Oh, maybe if you actually had those rules in the schoolroom, then they wouldn't be doing it when they get older. Not rocket science.
Look, besides the fact that our legal system is based on the Ten Commandments.
Exactly, dude. It's like they pulled the foundation off of America. You know, they want to get away from Christianity and the Bible because it's all old and outdated. But what do they go to? Insane. You know, they don't even know who they are anymore, and they're like robbing stores, and you know what I mean? It's like insane.
But this is why I say this. This is why I say, you know, I say this all the time. Look, you might not like the book, you might not like traditional religion. Man, I like Christianity, Judeo-Christian. You may be, but you have to admit that if we had done it the way the book said, we'd be far better off than we are now. To the extent that thrown off those principles, those timeless principles, to the extent that we've thrown those off, we've been worse for it. Significantly worse, exponentially worse for it. And the thing is that it wouldn't take that much, as far as we've fallen, it wouldn't take that much for things to be corrected and to be righted. All it would take is a critical mass of people just being willing to do the right things, and push back against a lot of this clearly demonic stuff that's going on. That's all it would take, you know. And I don't know if I know that Tucker was fired from Fox. I don't know if you saw the Heritage speech that he gave.
I didn't watch. I haven't watched anything in that realm, but I heard about it. Yeah.
So in his Heritage speech, and he was basically just suggesting that we do something that somebody told him to do. Like somebody told him that maybe he should pray more about how bad the country is going. And so he made a suggestion to folks. He said, you know, why don't we pray about pray for our country, 10 minutes a day to pray for our country. Now,
that's a good idea.
What they're claiming is that somehow this was a tipping point. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Rupert Murdoch was like, I can't stand that spiritual stuff. And so supposedly he got fired because it was too, proselytizing or something like this. And it wasn't at all. He did none of that. Matter of fact, his cable show, he's far more that way. Now, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's a list of other things, and I've done a couple of videos where I talked about what I think the issue were. But my point was, I think it is great advice for people to pray for the country.
Yeah.
And
good idea.
It doesn't take it wouldn't take much for things to change dramatically. But you'd have.
I think we're right on the edge. I think we're on the edge of things getting better. That's why I think I feel like it's a sign the devil's scared. Like he knows his time is up, because you can see kind of like the cracks. You saw Roe v. Wade, of course, overturned. You saw what happened with the Guidestones. I'm talking about in Georgia. And you'd see things are there's something not right, because you can see how society's crumbling and everybody can see it. And when people see it, they awaken. And when they awaken, they realize what's wrong. They need to return back to God. So I think like it's kind of like when Jesus said the harvest is ripe, but the workers are few. It's kind of like we're getting to that point where the harvest is ripe again. And the devil knows it. And I think that's why he's so scared. I think maybe someone like Carlson there is, was too dangerous. And the devil just knows that his time is getting. I can just feel it. I know that there's going to be some big changes towards the more positive soon here. I really feel like it, but that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I'm no diehard Carlson fan. I liked a lot of the things that he said, but I also had some significant disagreements with him, especially with respect to the way that he addressed certain racial issues. But I have the same sort of issue with him and with Ben Shapiro and with um, uh, Steven Crowder. They all kind of say the same things, and I call a certain kind of conservative. It tends to exist on the right. I call them bootstrap bros, and bootstrap bros, they just tell you to ignore all of the issues that obviously exist that are a challenge more against certain people than other people. Ignore all that stuff, act like that stuff doesn't exist, and just pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Now, of course, in order to do that, you need leverage, so you can't actually pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And and the unwillingness to acknowledge certain nuance that's associated with a lot of the problems that we face, and things that the government clearly has done more against certain communities than others on purpose, right? Um, you know, you have to at least acknowledge that stuff. You can't just sweep that under the rug and act like it's a non-issue. And the reason that certain people are not succeeding is just because they're just lazy. All of them are lazy. All of them are no good. And the reason that other people are doing well, it's all has to do with them. They just outworked everybody. We
Well,
know
I think
that.
it's no. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's like not understanding sort of the fabric and fabric of the family, fabric of our society, fabric, the bedrock in which America is on. You have the idea of the Ten Commandments, the Bible, things like this. If you don't really understand the value of it, a lot of people just think that it's just a personal problem, a personal problem that causes people not to go the right way. When it often can be a cultural problem. It can be like a societal problem. It can be something far bigger. And like something like the city of Portland. Looking at the city of Portland, you have all these people walking around almost like zombies now because of certain types of things they're taking. And why are they taking these things? Why has the society gone that direction in that area? And why is it they're able to rob these stores and all this stuff, and they're literally destroying their own society, literally destroying their own city? It's because they completely ignore what they live off the assumption of something they don't understand, like an atheist that lives in Western society 30 years ago is like, oh, why do we need God? But then they don't even understand the whole society, their whole understanding of not killing, not stealing. All the ethics they learned is all built on this thing they reject. And it's the same with, I guess you could say with some of these people in the conservative, they may not understand how important society and culture is in your upbringing, all that kind of stuff. They just assume it's all a personal thing and you should be able to pull yourself out of it, even if like you're born in a bad situation. I mean, look that lady. She was 8 years old and that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they live for another 50 years trying to get over it. Like, look at Corey Feldman. I mean, he's still talking about it today. What happened to him when he was younger in Hollywood? Same kind of thing, right? Same exact kind of thing. And it took him many years. I mean, he's like our age. He's starting to get past it. And then it's still not past it. You know what I mean? So all that stuff really affects you, how your upbringing, particularly when you're younger. And that's why it's so important to protect the younger, uh, because of how this stuff can devastate their life and
Yep.
give them a very problematic future and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
like your dad, he told a story about being in the city, right? Where did he grow up? Chicago or something?
no,
It was
Midwest.
some
It's
city.
West, but yeah.
No, he was saying he was in the city and they would play in like construction areas where there's like really dangerous. He was saying like there's like
Yep.
glass and stuff.
That's right. And they just thought it was just like it was just fun. Like broken
Right.
bottle, you fall to your death and stuff like that. But, it was just, hey, that's just what they did.
But yeah, I don't know what his upbringing was, but I mean that like that alone, just that one little factor, he could have died or something could have injured
Yeah,
him or whatever.
my dad defied all of the odds. My
Yeah,
dad
that's what I
should
was thinking. I was
have been
thinking
able
that.
he should not have been able to uh, get as far as he did. He had, but also he's an outlier in that my dad has 160 IQ, right? So he had a particular aptitude that made it so that he would be able to, if he put some effort forth and not too much terrible stuff happened to him when he was a kid, he'd be able to pull out, even though he grew up in the projects. He grew up in abject poverty, and he didn't know his dad until he didn't meet his biological father until he was in his 40s or something. So there's all of these sort of factors that should have been like a death nail, but you know but he made it happen. But the thing is, it's not looking at outliers like my dad and saying, hey, see, he did it, so then why can't you lazy bums over here do it too? Because the way that you measure policy, you evaluate policy in a system, it's not based on the outliers. It's based on the average person. So if the average person of average resolve, average intelligence, you know, if the average person was in the situation that my dad was in growing up, it would have broken it. There's no way that they would have made it. It would have been a done deal, disproportionately done deal. He made it out like it was like a 0.001%, chance that something good would happen.
I think I know what these conservatives are doing. What they're doing is they're like saying, okay, obviously, giving them things doesn't solve it. Like I saw this interesting video about Indian reservations, and the one Indian reservation that's the richest and has done the best is the one that rejected money from the government. I can't remember what I saw
Mm.
that on. But the whole point was, and this is where I think maybe some of these guys get it wrong, is that they think, oh, okay, so if you give them money, it doesn't solve the problem, so they should just pull themselves up from their own bootstraps. But really, what it should be is cultivating those people to be able to do it themselves and put them in a situation to where they can grow and build themselves up by helping them in a certain respect, but not by like just giving them money, but like actually having someone try to help them get along and get to the right place. Maybe educators or mentors or whatever you want to call it, right? Like especially within in the business realm, if you want to become a millionaire, as they say, you need mentors. You need to be around the right people. So I think it's the same with anybody. So like if you're in the projects, you need mentors, like good people around you, mentoring you the right direction, not drug dealers or whatever else mentoring you the wrong direction. So instead of it being all about money, which is kind of how they're oversimplifying it, like, oh, we shouldn't give them money because it doesn't solve anything. It should be more so along the lines of how can we help them in a way that would actually work, like mentoring. And that kind of brings up the whole, YMCA and how it started and all that kind of stuff. Maybe those were kind of like could get them into sports. You know what I mean? Like I think it was YW and YMCA, right? YMCA is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Young Men's Christian, because I think they maybe had more of a right direction with the whole thing because they're trying to get them off the streets into sports or whatever. That's at least in the right direction, not necessarily the only thing, but something in the right direction at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we've had a really good show. We went a little longer than than usual, but that's good. Had an active chat. Ptolemy's in there slaying some trolls for us. So I
Okay. I'm not even
appreciate
reading it.
that.
There's like so many
And
comments. I didn't see them all.
yeah, and some folks that are just saying stuff that's like, why are you talking about that? The show's about this topic, and you're talking about some weird stuff that has nothing to do with the show. So anyhow, yes, have a good night. Ptolemy says have a good night. We're saying have a good night, and we'll see you next week on another riveting episode of Two Dads React. That's our time. Peace out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.